this episode of Horse Shelter Heroes.
So today we have the check dedication from the Bob Barker estate.
Just had this very pregnant dog surrendered and get her into a foster home as soon as possible because she's about to pop. This poor horse is really, really suffering. There's a lot of critical horses in this load from what we're seeing, but he's the worst.
How long do you think that's been on there?
More than 10 days. There's a chance that we could surgically debride that.
You don't want to miss a single second of Horse Shelter Heroes.
Today is a pretty exciting day, and this week is a very busy week. At noon, we'll be doing a ceremony in honor of Bob Barker for the $100,000 estate donation we received. He's just an amazing person. We want to honor him in every way we can. Tomorrow's our big buyout rescue mission, and the rest of the week we'll be very busy with all the new horses. So we're all gearing up for a very busy week, and then next week I will be doing donor visits. So I will not be here, but I'm really excited to be connecting more with our donors because they're the ones that are making all of this possible. So looks like I'll be in Miami next week. And if any of you all would like to have a visit, just reach out, contact us, and find out what's needed to have Jason and I come and have an in-person visit with you. We are opening up a whole estate planning program and just trying to make a lasting legacy so animals can continue being helped. And it's pretty exciting that, unbeknownst to us, that we were in Bob Barker's will and that we get to carry on his legacy. So have your pets spayed and neutered.
All right, so we are prepping everything to do Fire's castration. As long as everything else lines up correctly, we're gonna do him in the surgery room.
I would say that he is probably 2.5, 3.5. Yeah, this little nubbin here should have gotten all the way pushed out. Looks pretty healthy, but yeah, we called him 3. I'm comfortable with saying he's maybe 4. We just finished Fire's castration. Dr. Gina castrated him and she did a perfect job. I did anesthesia and he is doing great. It was a beautiful, smooth induction and smooth sailing for anesthesia. So he's about 4 years old. And he's a really good boy. And we are finished and now we're just waiting for him to recover. We are organizing our intake supplies. We don't know how many horses coming in tomorrow, somewhere between 30 and 40, we're guessing. So we're organizing our supplies and we're gonna go ahead and take some of the supplies up to quarantine so we can be ready to hit the ground running tomorrow.
Okay, so me and the rest of the vet team are up here in quarantine. We decided to come up here to clean, just so tomorrow when all of the horses come in, everything's nice and perfect for them. We also brought up a box of supplies that we made in preparation for tomorrow, and those supplies will stay up here full time so that whenever we're coming up to intake or just coming up to check on horses, we have supplies on hand. Thankfully, all of the vet team, we work amazing together, and this place looks great, and I'm so happy that the new horses we're getting are coming to such a beautiful place.
So today we have the check dedication from the Bob Barker estate. We have a few people showing up right now. We're getting them signed in, and we're also going to give them a tour of the facility. I think each barn is going to have its own person giving the tour, with either Tawny or Angela sticking with the group and bringing them all the way around.
How did you hear about Horse Plus, number one?
I started looking at horses and just trying to learn about them. And we've basically watched all 5 seasons. We're all caught up in the last 6 months. And so this is our first visit here. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We came here for the event regarding, I guess, the Bob Barker estate donation for Horse Plus. So
What do you think about that?
I think that's really exciting. It's a huge honor, I would think.
So I'm sure every one of you knows Bob Barker. And as a kid, I didn't watch much TV. I was more out with my animals, and we didn't have television. But when I was at my grandma's or whatnot, I'd see, The Price is Right. And I thought it was a cool show. And then when I was older, I learned about what he did for animals. And I was like, wow, it would be so amazing if he knew about Horse Plus. I'm like, he could do so much good. And when he passed away, I remember thinking like, wow, the world lost a champion for animals. And then last winter, we got a letter stating that we were receiving $100,000 of his estate. We had no idea, and it was shocking. I'm gonna turn it over to Jason, but thank you all so much for coming today. We really, really appreciate it. And we do have a letter that we're going to be sending back to Nancy, his girlfriend, and I think it'll mean a lot to her to see all the support and signatures, that how the money's gonna be helping so much in our community.
First of all, I do want to thank each and every person for coming out today. It's not the most pleasant day to come out, but thank you for joining us in this exciting, exciting day. As Tani mentioned, Bob Barker was not only a legendary TV personality, he was passionate about every animal, both small, large, and he donated literally millions of dollars to animal shelters and charities of different kinds. And he ended every episode of The Price is Right with help control the pet population, spay and neuter your pet. His charitable giving was so generous, he went from a high of an approximate net worth of $70 million to dying nearly penniless because he wanted to give his money away while it could do good. Now, interestingly enough, Bob Barker was a proponent of open admission shelters, which is a shelter that accepts all animals regardless of their adoptability. He believed that every animal deserved a chance to find a home, even if they were stray or abandoned. His unwavering support of this philosophy of animal sheltering actually helped craft animal sheltering what it is today. He will be remembered as a true animal lover and a pioneer in the fight for animal welfare. Upon Bob Barker's death in 2023, we were granted $100,000 from his estate, which we recently received. We are so honored. There was 40 charities chosen from his estate that I'm sure he personally picked out. And just to think that he actually knew about little old Horse Plus Humane Society out here in Lewis County. We want to further his memory and his mission by opening a spay-neuter clinic in part with some of this donation. And that's going to help the dogs and cats of Lewis County and surrounding counties. His legacy will continue right here in Lewis County. Bob Barker was a true friend for animals, and we're honored to continue his legacy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Bob Barker!
I'm Jonah Keltner. I'm the Lewis County Mayor. We are very excited here in Lewis County that Horse Plus Humane Society was chosen by Bob Barker, along with 40 organizations, to receive this donation. Spay and neutering is so important. It's really going to help our community here in Lewis County, and we can't wait to see what happens with this grant money. We're so thankful for Horse Plus Humane Society and all they do.
We'll be doing a tour of our facility for visitors who came, so we're going to get started on that. So this is Dr. Lydia and Dr. Gina. And this is their domain, so they're going to explain their domain to you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. This was designed as a large animal hospital, so you'll see we'll walk you guys through. We've kind of retrofitted large animal spaces to meet a small animal need temporarily because we didn't want to wait to start spaying and neutering until that building is finished. So we can just walk through. we've had a ton of small animal stuff recently. So this is where we would keep small animals on a very short-term basis. So if you had surgery yesterday and you're going home tomorrow, but we need a small space for you to watch you or things that need medication, does anyone need a healthy guinea pig? These three boys need homes. It's funny, we've had them for a good bit. So we do stuff, and then we have some small animal supplies over here. Again, this is temporary and is going to be replaced by that small animal building when we get it. Those are combs. If you have cats, you know how much everybody loves the comb.
This is where I spend most of my time when I'm here, here in the training barn. We do have all these holding stalls here, so there's some times where we have horses that need to be sedated for farrier care. After they're done with their trim, they can hang out in the stall and recover, or they can hang out in these back pens here. Also, if we have adoption appointments, we can just kind of stick them in these stalls. That way, if somebody is coming and they want to look at multiple horses, we could show them multiple horses and they're up and available.
The training barn, you know, I've watched on the YouTube a lot of stuff that happens in there, but it was really helpful to kind of see everything explained on how Kory uses it with the animals and keeping the animals, like when there's an adoption coming, getting them kind of prepared ahead of time and having them ready to show to adopters. Everything in there is really nice. Like, it's really well set up to work with the horses. So anyway, I really liked it. I thought it was neat.
It's well organized. You know, how they bring the animals in, and it's very thoughtful the way it's laid out and planned.
We're done with the tour portion down here at our main facility, and now we're going to take them up to quarantine so they can have a look of our quarantine facility. We don't have any horses there right now because tomorrow's our big buyout and we have a lot of horses coming in. So it's empty right now, so we're going to go ahead and take some visitors up there. It's heart-wrenching, the conditions of the horses that come in. At auctions, we see the same conditions as far as people unloading overcrammed trailers. There was one person that brought way too many horses in, and the trailer was so full, and we told him, like, you can't be doing that. Don't do that. And he's never brought us horses since. So it's like, but he can take horses like that all day long to the auction and nobody says anything.
The tour was awesome. I'm really grateful that Horse Plus was able to open their facility up for us to come see. They're doing an incredible job helping horses and other animals find a place where they can rehabilitate their health and find a new home. The veterinarian area was amazing, super clean, super organized, and just a wonderful facility for the horses to come into to start their new life. Everybody here does a great job with caring for the horses, but also making the right decision with how to handle each one individually. But this is a great facility, a lot of space, which is wonderful. I think this is how a horse rescue should look.
Today's event went fantastic. The giant check ceremony in memory of Bob Barker. A lot of community came out and supported, and the elephant sanctuary came out, which that was awesome as well. It was really awesome to be able to have such a fun day at our facility. It's crazy windy though. All in all, it was a great day, and now I have to get to fundraising because we have a lot of horses coming in tomorrow, and I haven't fundraised like much at all today, so I gotta go get behind a computer the rest of the day. But it's been great and very windy, like I said.
Just got back from Aruba, not really working or ready to work a 10-hour shift. Still on vacation thing. My mind is just, I'm tired.
Hey Keith, catch.
Oh, nice. What are these?
Oh, Celia. They
Celia?
actually, yeah.
Cellular Regeneration Daily Dose. It's designed to help improve your health, may increase your energy levels, making you feel vibrant and ready to take on the day.
How many do you take?
You take about 2. Just 2.
So
No, not 4.
No,
2.
just
you
two?
take 2. Yes,
Just
2.
two?
Just 2. And that will make you feel so good. You will forget about even going to Aruba.
I forget about going to Aruba. I don't want to forget to Aruba, man. I don't.
What I was actually trying to say, Keith, is that you don't have to worry about your tiredness because Celia is going to make it better.
Oh, the tiredness.
Yes,
the tiredness.
Don't forget about the tiredness.
Now that I can forget, but not the trip. I liked going there. So that's nice. Thank you, John.
No problem, no problem.
Celia, giving you that natural energy that you need. Get it now.
So we do have our buyout program today. So far we were scheduled to have over 40 horses come to the shelter this morning. So we're gonna have a very busy day.
We just had this very pregnant dog surrendered. We're gonna take her over to have the vets check her out and get her into a foster home as soon as possible because she's about to pop. This dog was just surrendered. When I went up to the car, 3 of the dogs were very aggressive, and then she just like laid there and didn't move. And her belly is huge. And she looks very, very pregnant. If she's not pregnant, I would be shocked.
Oh yeah, she's like, I concur with your assessment.
She's gonna pop.
Hi, sweet. She's like on the verge of whelping.
With x-rays, we're counting at least 6 spine puppies in just one part of her belly. So Coco is definitely pregnant. She got lots of babies in there. Our goal is to transfer her out today because she is really miserable. She needs to be in an area where she can start nesting and have those babies. She doesn't want to, I mean, like she plopped down just now. Like she's a very miserable dog and she's not comfortable at all.
Today's gonna be a really busy day. We just had our first load of horses arrive. There should be between 19 and 20 horses on the trailer, and we've got all our supplies loaded up, and we are headed up to quarantine.
So the first load of horses is here, and there's supposed to be 19 on this trailer.
Has the antidote to brokenness evaded me? Could I believe in what my ears have not heard? Or will the suffering that surrounds me have the final word? Even on the darkest nights I know the sun will rise. I will trust the promise
This poor horse is really, really suffering. There's a lot of critical horses in this load from what we're seeing, but he's the worst. He cannot use his leg here. It looks like he is a standard bred, so we should be able to find out his history. Oh, poor guy.
So this joint is fused. I can bend a little bit this way, but I can't extend this part of the foot out, and this would have taken months and months. There's a huge bony callus right here that's keeping this joint from functioning. This horse sustained some kind of severe trauma, and then the shoulder is completely dropped, and you can see a ton of atrophy right here. The radial nerve runs right here in his armpit, along with the brachial plexus, and when we have severe injury to that radial nerve, you have the shoulder drop and you have no use of the forelimb. And then it's especially hard in horses because they bear 60% of their weight in their front legs. So he's having to try to compensate and hold 60% of his weight on this right front leg. And he's shown a pretty strong pain response on palpation. This horse also hasn't had farrier care for his heel bulb should end right here. So this is severe neglect following a traumatic injury.
And he's been through one auction already and would have been headed on to another one. So they're selling horses at auctions like this in the United States, and nobody cares. I mean, we care, obviously, but like nobody's at these auctions. Like some vet pulled blood on him at the auction,
being
He
like,
has a certificate. He has a CVI.
yeah, he has a health certificate. He's got all these things that, you know, for bringing it. It's just really frustrating. It's really frustrating. He's not sedated. He's just like loving the chance to be loved. Yes, I know.
That horse's heart rate was 68, which indicates pretty severe pain. So I'm going to give some IV pain medication.
The last act of kindness will be our only option for him. And it's something that is a gift when it's horses like this. Like, they are suffering so much, and we can relieve that suffering from them. And without us, he could have gone on to slaughter. And there are some folks that are like, well, horses should be slaughtered. Like when I was in Washington, D.C. last time, they're like, I am pro-slaughter, but I'm against abuse. This is out of the slaughter pipeline. This horse is suffering. Abuse and the slaughter pipeline go hand in hand.
I would age him between 5 and 7.
So young.
I know.
Wow. So he's 5 or 7 years old.
And he does have a brand, so we can verify that.
The other trailer is here. We're gonna have to give him the last act of kindness. There's nothing we can do, and his heart rate is showing that he's in a lot of pain. I'm probably gonna have to put him in a stall just for a second while the next trailer unloads, but he is a high priority for us for the last act of kindness because his pain levels are very high. So far, this mare has a movable mass on the right side of her trachea, between her mandible and her trachea, which feels abnormal. She also might have had previous chokes because she has a little bit of a lump down here in her esophagus. Let's see what else. She has decreased GI sounds, but they're present. They picked up with cookies.
Oh my goodness. She has a severe heart murmur. Does anybody want to hear this?
I do.
I would grade this a 5 to 6 out of 6. So instead of lub dub, you have lub.
Ooh.
You hear it? Yeah, she's got, I don't know if you guys can see, so she doesn't have missing teeth, but on both top sides, all of her teeth are worn to the level of the gums, so she likely hasn't been able to reduce the particle sizes she's chewing. Sometimes when we have missing teeth or we have a hook or a wave, we can kind of correct that, but even though horses have continuously growing teeth at some point in their lives, the rate of wear doesn't keep up with the rate of growth, and then we can have severe weight loss like we see in this. So this poor mare has a lot of problems that we see pretty often in these groups of bio horses. She's probably upwards of 25 years old. She has a grade 5 to 6 heart murmur that's very severe, and you can actually palpate she's got engorged vessels running along her chest wall, so she likely is headed towards heart failure. And she also has active evidence of an inflammation in both of her eyes that's reducing her vision. So anterior uveitis is the most likely cause, but that can cause pain as pressure changes in both of your eyes. So some of these things we can manage, but heart disease specifically, especially at this stage, we don't have any treatment options for, and we don't want her to suffer a cardiac event and pass. So we're probably going to recommend the last act of kindness for this mare.
In a cloudy southern sky, will the rain ever stop? Will the rain ever stop? Will the rain ever stop reminding me?
We are going to give him the last act of kindness. He's had lots of pain medicine on board. He's also sedated. He's so painful that we don't want to do x-rays while he's alive, so his x-rays will be taken after he is gone, just to document his damage and this just torture he's gone through. Sorry, buddy.
Fall on you. Oh, if God will send his angels down and wash
We don't have complete collapse or arthrodesis of these joints, but you can see the horse's leg should be a bony column that's lined up. So see how this area isn't lined up with this area? So we almost have like a subluxation in this direction. And that is probably because this horse has been trying to kind of walk and knuckling over on that leg right there. When arthrodesis occurs and a bony callus forms, you actually have more stability and less pain. In these cases where we have really severe misalignment, you end up with kind of bone grating on bone. So this poor horse, when you felt this area and when I tried to move this joint, we couldn't move this joint forward. So we know that we didn't have a functional synovial structure in place, but we don't have a bony callus formed yet. So I would put that horse's radial nerve injury at probably 6 to 9 months before now that he's been walking around painful on that leg.
So we have had a couple microchip spots get infected in the past. So since that happened, we have decided to shave down wherever we're going to put the microchip and also get some alcohol on there to help avoid getting an infection at the microchip site. Just a little bit better for the animals, and it helps us save time and resources so we don't have to go back and treat an infected microchip spot. So we have the other trailer heading up right now, and we were told that they are all pretty critical. So we're gonna get some horses moved around up here so we can focus on triaging those ones.
We're getting Coggins on this sweet paint boy. He looks, his front feet and the way he's moving, he's very back on his hind legs, which is very typical of laminitis or foundering. So I'm gonna get his Coggins, we're gonna get his pictures, and we're probably gonna take radiographs of his front feet and then finish our evaluation and determine what the next action is for him. I can feel all your bones, buddy. Abby normal. To feel all the bones.
So here's our angle of our hoof wall, and this is where our coffin bone is, and we've got severe lipping and resorption, so chronic, active, painful founder. I don't even think we need to take the other foot. That horse is so
did
painful.
both.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Yeah, they were both bad.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that one's worse.
That's like
45. Yeah. So this should be the angle of this bone, and that's how severe that rotation is. And you can see all of this osteophyte formation at the front.
This poor guy is really suffering. They've taken x-rays of his feet. His feet are in horrible condition. He does have a crust up here on his neck where basically at one point he was so fat that it just kind of fell over. And so he has just a lot of health problems along with a heart murmur. And we can't control his pain when the coffin bones drop to such a horrible extent. So there are some foundered horses we get and we're able to treat them, but the most of them that we see are just so horrifically foundered that we can't do anything other than give them last act of kindness. And he's such a beautiful horse. It's really heartbreaking, but I'm so thankful that he ended up, whatever situation it took for him to end up with the person that had him that utilized our program, because he would have gone straight to slaughter. And if you can just imagine this beautiful, sweet horse that loves people having a horrific death in Mexico, it's just heartbreaking. So we'll be relieving his suffering. It's the only gift we can give him.
So we got this draft bear in today. She does have a bad right leg, it looks like. She doesn't seem to be too lame on it, but it definitely looks and smells awful. It looks like they just wrapped it up in a towel and then put Elasticon all the way around it. to kind of hold it into place. But we can see a lot of stuff hanging out the back where it almost looks like a joint where a joint shouldn't be. So we're gonna take that off and get to the bottom of it. We might need to sedate her too, just because her temperament, but we're gonna try it without sedation first. How long do you think that's been on there?
Oh, more than 10 days. So I'm confident that a vet likely hasn't seen this, because the first thing we would do would be to clip the area. A really severe, proud flesh and obvious infection, but let's take radiographs and see if we don't have a fracture or synovial involvement. There's a chance that we could surgically debride that. This draft mare is super sweet. She had a very putrid towel taped to her right hind leg, and she has a very significant infection in that right hind leg. But she doesn't have evidence that she's septic, that the infection has gone systemic. We did pull blood for a complete blood count, and we're going to take a look at that this afternoon. She needs pretty significant surgical debridement of that wound and exploration of that wound. But even though she had a minor fracture in her leg, that fracture is stable. So I think that we have a chance of saving her. We hope that we can. We won't know until we have her in there. So we're going to move her to our vet hospital for a quarantine period and do a lot more treatments on her tomorrow. We need to get antibiotics and anti-inflammatory pain medication started right away. And then we will follow up with you guys once we have her sedated and know better what's going on underneath that wound. We are taking a lunch break. I don't know how many horses we looked at this morning, 12, I think, sounds like close to 50. And we're running a CBC and chemistry in-house blood work on 2 of the horses that we looked at this morning. These tests this one takes just 3 minutes, but this one takes closer to 15. So we're gonna get these running while we eat lunch so we can have those results before we go back up there.
We are asked to help hundreds of animals every single year. We cannot do that without your support. Being on the front lines of animal rescue, we see things that break our hearts. It's through donations that we're able to say yes to not only horses, but dogs and cats as well. Every animal deserves a second chance. At Horse Plus Humane Society, the plus in our name is for every other animal besides horses that needs help. And we help thousands and thousands of animals, but we can only do that through support from people just like yourself, donating to help us help the helpless. If we don't have support, we cannot save these animals. Please make a donation right now and be the difference for an animal in need.
Before lunch, we were able to get through 12 of them. We're hoping that we'll be able to finish the rest of them by the end of today and get pain management for the ones that need it.
Good?
I didn't get bitten. Yeah, she's totally a baby. So 2.5, 3.5. 4. 4? Yeah.
So this horse just came in. She is acting pretty wild. She's about 4 years old. She's still pretty young. We're gonna go ahead and give her all the things and turn her out, and we're gonna put her in the training program and see what we can do with her.
She doesn't have a brand. So she is a Mustang. She was bred in captivity probably. She's 4 years old. She's very wild. And We just did all of the things for her, and we couldn't get a halter on her, so we're just gonna open up and run her back around. This very good boy is a 3.5-year-old Mustang gelding. He doesn't look like he's had a ton of handling, but he's being a very good boy, and it doesn't look like he has any obvious health concerns. So we're gonna do all of his intake.
So this sweet 3-year-old mare is getting all of her intake. As far as we can tell, she's in great health. So we are super excited for her to get done with her quarantine so we can find her home.
So this donkey is very young. We're thinking that he is a baby mammoth jack donkey. If you see a lot of the big mules, it's usually what they're bred with, and also a Belgian draft or some sort of draft horse. So he is a very big donkey. In my opinion, still got all of his baby teeth. Come look at these teeth.
Oh, they're all baby teeth.
That's what I thought.
Like 2? Yeah.
No, younger than 2.
We have a baby donkey who appears to be very healthy, so we're doing all of his intake. He's so cute. And he's gonna be gigantic. This sweet boy is about 28 years old. He's missing most of his upper incisors are worn to the gum, but he still has enough teeth in the backs of his mouth that I would like to try to do a dental float on him to see if we can improve his body condition score. He's got a pretty significant puncture wound on his face, on the left side of his face, that's going into his sinus cavity. So we're going to clip and clean that area and suture it closed. He doesn't have a heart murmur. His lungs sound okay. He also has a mass in his right eye. One of the differentials is an ocular melanoma, but it could be a benign mass. So I'm not an ophthalmologist. I'm gonna need to take a much closer look at that and see if we can get a definitive diagnosis of that eye. If it is melanoma, the course of action would be to enucleate the eye, which he's not healthy enough right now to undergo a really intense surgery. So we're gonna take it a day at a time with this guy. We're gonna get his face fixed and get his teeth fixed and see if we can get him to gain weight.
Almost all the horses are itchy today, and almost all the horses are covered in a ton of lice today. So we're all feeling very itchy, but the nice thing is that horse lice will not live on humans for long, but they will crawl around us and make us feel very itchy for a bit. But they won't start just inhabiting us like they do the horses. So it's just kind of an itchy, licey day too, on top of everything. Huh. Yeah. So ivermectin will actually kill the lice. So it goes through their system, and then basically their body will become toxic to lice and ticks and things. So ivermectin will help with all of that. It's just takes a little bit for it to kick in.
So this sweet standardbred gelding has a unique thing in that he has an arrhythmia. Well, it's not super unique, but I mean, we haven't heard one here before. So for that sense, it's unique to us. But he has a really interesting arrhythmia. So instead of the heart rate going da-da, 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 da-da on a regular rhythm, it's like da-da, 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 da-da. So it kind of goes at its own pace. It's really interesting. Other than that, he has some painful stifle effusion, more so on this right hind than his left hind, but he's a gentleman about it. He's like, just please don't. And he's got some superficial wounds and some bony changes here. But other than that, he seems to be a very good boy.
Yeah, I do want to add, he has a very good heart. It might have a weird tick to it, but this is a good boy.
He's a sweet boy. So he's about 19 years old based on his tattoo and his teeth. So as long as everybody else is okay with it, I'm okay with him getting all the things.
This is the kind of horse the little girl gets to learn how to ride on and loves him for a little bit of time until she outgrows him. And then by the time she outgrows him, he's ready to retire anyway. So
we do need to see him move though, but.
So this adorable little nugget is going to be moved down to the vet barn so we can do some more procedures on him tomorrow. We're going to take some radiographs of his bilateral hocks because you can see he has a wound back there, and keep a close eye on him because he's about a little baby, about 6 months old. But he's a good boy. And we're going to run some blood work on him. We're going to take care of him and get him some groceries and a friend. So he's going to get all the baby things.
He's like 18, 1 or 2.
This guy might be
This
good for him.
very
handsome boy is very old, but he looks to be in pretty decent shape. He wasn't eating out there, and I suspect that he's got some major dental pathology. So we're putting him top of the list for a dental. He's got some elevated lung sounds on the right and some mucopurulent nasal discharge just from the right nostril. So we're gonna run a CBC on him. He's probably gonna need some antibiotics. And based on the smell in his mouth, he's definitely gonna need some dental assessment. He is quite aged, so I don't think he has a ton of time left, but he's a very good boy, and I would love to get him a little bit more time in a forever home if we can get him healthy and gaining weight here. This cute little mare has a Roman nose and is very sweet. She needs a dental. She also needs a surgical procedure for her left eye because she's blind in it, but thankfully it's not painful right now. And otherwise she looks to be pretty sound and in pretty good shape. Her body condition score is very low. So we're gonna put her on a refeeding program, and we're gonna try to address her teeth this week sooner than later so we can get some weight on her, but she's very, very sweet. Her left eye looks like it has ruptured in the past, and it is small. So an eye that doesn't have signs of cancer or infection doesn't always have to come out, but I don't like to leave them open because they're prone to chronic irritation, and flies and stuff get in there. So I usually just kind of gently resect those eyelids, but I leave the glands intact so the eye can still lacrimate normally. And then I leave a little area open at the medial canthus. So it helps owners with maintenance of the eye so they don't have to kind of keep that area cleaned out and free of flies. And it won't make any difference to her. She can't see out of that eye anyway.
This little girl is only 2.5 years old based on her dental exam. She's partially visual on both sides. Her pupils are a little cloudy, or her lenses are a little cloudy. So we're gonna do a better assessment of that tomorrow. Other than that, so far we haven't found anything to keep her from getting all the things. It's been a very busy day. Out of the 38 horses we were able to intercept from going to auction, there were 16 horses that did require the last act of kindness, and the others, we have some on a concern list. We have some that we think are like perfectly fine, we hope. I'm gonna be leaving the team up here because I was the euthanasia technician today on duty. I have a lot of paperwork I have to do. So I'm gonna leave everyone here to finish up, but they are on the last horse, so I'm really excited. I'm sure Dr. Gina will give you a report from her side of things. Dr. Lydia has gone home, so we're just wrapping up here, but it's been amazing that we were able to intercept so many horses out of the slaughter pipeline today, and I would like to thank each and every one of our donors. And remember, next month we're being asked to take a semi-truck of horses to intercept them from going to slaughter. So we need your support. Please help us rescue, shelter, and protect the helpless by making a donation. All right, we just finished up with the last filly of the day. She's really nervous, but unhandled little baby. She's about 2.5 years old. She got all the things, and we're about to kick her out and let her have her time to decompress. All right, so we were finishing up today on our buyout program and intake. We did 38 horses today, which is amazing. We had some really sad heart murmurs and a really cool arrhythmia and some other really neat things, and some horses that we're gonna really give chances to and work with. And a few are going to the vet barn. So, but other than that, we're just about to go back down to the vet barn and close up for the day.
We have a special project that's being worked on right now out in the riding arena. And there'll be more news coming on that very soon, but right now they're preparing for concrete.
Well, this morning, one of our surrender dogs that we got yesterday, she was heavily pregnant. I figured she was gonna have her baby soon, but we didn't know. Right now, it looks like she might be having another one. So far, there's only 9 puppies. I'm making sure she has food and water, and I'm moving her over to a bigger blanket so she has more room to move around with her puppies. So far, she looks like she's doing good.
So here at Horse Plus, we have a lovely gift shop. Things that are bought in our gift shop are used as donations to help us save more horses. Here are a few things we have. Having a long day at work, we have Horse Plus cups. You feel cold? We've got a Horse Plus hoodie just for you. Want to show your love for Horse Plus? We have t-shirts with our logos. You just bought a mug? Well, we've got a sticker to go on it too. Here on site, we have so many more things for you to buy and look at, but we also have an online store where we offer a wide variety of different things. Stickers, we've got all kinds of t-shirts. You love dogs and cats, we've got stuff for that. Horses galore. Every dollar spent buying these amazing things goes towards our horses here at Horse Plus Humane Society. We greatly appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you wearing one of our t-shirts.
All the blood that we had pulled yesterday to run first thing this morning to just kind of see where everybody fell on the scale has been done. We might pull more today depending on what we see. But so far, generally, everyone we had concerns about are good to go. There are 2 that unfortunately, based on their blood work, we're concerned about liver disease, cancer, things like that. And they're also at advanced ages for horses. So those 2 have had a decision made on them. But the other ones look pretty good for the most part. They're stable, and we're gonna go on and do their medical things.
Dr. Gina and I are headed up to quarantine. We have several horses that are priority diagnostics that we weren't able to get to yesterday. The rest of our vet team is furiously working to get medical records and Coggins paperwork taken care of. So we've recruited Keith to help us hold, and we're gonna do some radiographs and some dentals and look a little bit closer at some of these animals. I'm gonna put a dental speculum on while trying not to blind everybody. And we're gonna take a closer look at this guy's teeth. And if he needs his teeth floated, I'm gonna go ahead and float him. Our generator battery died, so Dr. Gina is fixing the radiograph equipment. We're playing to strengths because I'm not very tech savvy. So she is fixing that so we can take some more. I do see some arthritis, but we didn't see anything catastrophic with this guy. His elbow does seem to be the source of the abnormality. He was uncomfortable on elbow palpation yesterday for Dr. Gina. But we need to take a couple more images. So we will use the sedation while we have it. Keith, I'm really sorry if I blind you. I'm gonna try really hard not to, but I generally do blind my assistant. This sweet boy clearly has had kind of a rough life. He has a lot of scars and bumps and bruises and bony abnormalities, but he's not lame. Clearly his body condition score is very poor, so we checked his teeth. He had some sharp points that I was able to reduce pretty easily, so hopefully he'll put on some weight. Our radiograph equipment is being finicky today, so we were able to get images of the left elbow, which was our main concern. There are several other areas that we want to take x-rays of before he goes up for adoption, but because he's sound and stable, we're gonna let him wake up and turn him back out, and we'll get those images another time.
We're taking rads of his stifles and maybe his hocks, and we're gonna evaluate him for a dental.
His teeth are pretty decent, but he does have some points. He's probably gonna be faster than the last one. I'm just rinsing the treats out of his mouth. Someone thought it was a great idea to stuff his face with treats.
Great job, Dr. Lydia.
This sweet gelding is 19. He had some sharp points on his teeth that we were able to fix. Dr. Gina appreciated a lot of effusion and discomfort on palpation of his stifles. So we took radiographs of both stifles. The stifle in a horse is the equivalent of a human knee, and we have pretty severe osteoarthritis in the right stifle joint. There's also arthritis and partial joint collapse in both hocks. The left stifle looks okay. We always treat our patient, not our diagnostic. So while we have severe changes in that stifle joint, we haven't done a full lameness evaluation on this horse, and he was sound at a walk. So once he's recovered from his sedation from having a dental, we will do a more significant lameness assessment of him. We don't really care if he has arthritis if he's comfortable, but if that joint is going to be painful every day, then we don't want him to walk around in pain. So we will assess his lameness probably tomorrow. We can probably get to that tomorrow.
We're getting him ready for his dental, and we're going to take some blood work and just run a chemistry. We were in a CBC on him, but we didn't run a chemistry. But he has some diarrhea today, so we're just going to be safe and run a chemistry too.
Goes up and then it points way down right there. On the same side of the other arcade, it is razor sharp. And Kory, I'm gonna be like right next to your ear again.
It's fine.
Okay, ready? Ready. Woo! That mouth is not normal, but I think he's got a much better chance at putting on weight now. Thanks, you guys. This draft horse is older, but his CBC yesterday was mostly normal. He's anemic, which is not great, but he doesn't have non-regenerative anemia. So given groceries and time, I'm hopeful that his red blood cell count will become more normal. Very, very severe dental pathology on both sides of his mouth. And it was so bad that he couldn't close his mouth all the way or move his jaw into a normal position. So we were able to get all of those really, really sharp areas reduced. So he should be able to close his mouth all the way and chew more normally. We did notice since he got here that he really hasn't shown any interest in hay. He will eat grass, but that's probably because his mouth was really bothering him. So I'm very hopeful. You can see how thin he is, even with his fluffiness. He's very underweight. So I'm hopeful that this big sweet boy puts on some weight, and I think somebody's gonna love having him.
So we are completely done working through all of our buyout horses that are left up here in quarantine. We have a few more down in the vet barn that need a few more things done. Altogether, we got through every single horse that we got within a day and a half, which is pretty significant. In the past few months we've done the buyout, we haven't really got through everybody in such a timely manner. So it's pretty cool to be done with all of that. We can focus on other things that we have to do, and all of these horses have what they need, and they can just decompress for the next month or so while they're up here.
I am going down to meet with one of our donors who wants to help in a significant way, and we're really pushing to have a climate-controlled intake barn. It would be so amazing with the amount of horses we're rescuing that we could, I mean, if you've watched the videos, in the wintertime we are literally freezing. Dr. Lydia cannot handle the cold. This is a necessity, right?
It's hard to do your job when you can't feel your fingers.
Yeah, if our vets can't feel their fingers, how are they supposed to do the job? So anyways, we're just trying to figure out the best ideas for researching and repurposing this building. But basically, I think the conclusion is, as everyone's walking away, is I need to sit down with paper and run up some ideas of what it would look like. But we all agreed on a couple things. Other than that, it's gonna be a bit to figure it all out.
Tani and Jason just told Dr. Gina and I, it's very exciting that there might be a possibility that we could get a climate-controlled area to do intake. Some parts of the year it's fine to do intake without climate control, but whenever it's cold, we're all kind of freezing. And so it would be really amazing to have a space where we could safely evaluate those horses. From my perspective, we miss a lot less when we're not distracted by ambient circumstances like temperature or poor lighting and stuff like that. So our current system is very functional. Horse Plus has been using it for a lot of years, but not only would it be nice for our staff to be warm, but it's also really nice for those horses coming in off a really long, uncomfortable ride. They get cold too. So it's really exciting to think about, and we're gonna talk some more about design, but yeah, it would be incredible.
We have an amazing donor, Deb, who was kind enough to send us some money for pizza. So we will be having pizza for lunch for everybody today for our buyout week. And we just want to say thank you so much, Deb, for the pizza. So we have been very, very busy, and we're very, very hungry. And we have 7 amazing pizzas here, and our staff is ready for lunch. So we are going to get started eating.
Are you happy, Emily? Yes, I'm starving.
We have this super sweet mama dog who came in very pregnant yesterday. We took a radiograph of her and we could see fetal skeletons. So we knew she was very close to whelping. She whelped probably early morning this morning. I got here around 7:30 and there were 9 puppies. Now we have 12. And we have a wonderful partner rescue organization who's gonna take her, but we are gonna pull blood and make sure we know her heartworm status. She's gonna get a microchip. And then it's not safe for us to give a lot of the vaccines we would normally give to her, but we can safely give her a rabies vaccine. So I'm gonna give her just that one vaccine today. She's eating really well, she's well hydrated, and she's clearly been a mommy before. She's taken great care of those puppies. So she has to have a couple pokes, but then she's gonna go into a foster situation, which is way better for her and her puppies than being in the shelter.
All right, so we just got this big, beautiful girl in. She is the big girl that had the bandage around her leg that Dr. Lydia cut off with some scissors yesterday after we got her off the trailer and took a look at her. And it has a really foul smell to it, but the tissue looks pretty healthy for the most part, but we're gonna try and debride it and clean it.
I am just trimming some of the larger chunks of hair. Our main goal for today is to get this really nice and clean and clipped, but she has so much scabbing and blood and debris on here that she also has diarrhea. I'm just using scissors to kind of get big, major hunks off. And then I think we're gonna do some cold hosing, hydrotherapy, try to get it as clean as we can, and then we'll have to try to clip it after that. I'm pretty confident that no veterinarian has seen this horse because the first thing any of us would have done would be to clip and clean. Either that or this mare was seen long enough that all of this hair grew back. Okay, I'm glad you weren't right there. All right, ma'am, we gotta get your leg clean.
So we just found out her name is Cleopatra officially. So Dr. Lydia and Kory are putting this soap on Cleopatra's legs to try and break up some of the crusties.
This mare has a really, really long road to recovery. She has severe, extensive, deep, ulcerated pockets of infected tissue, pretty much from her hock to her foot. Thankfully, her CBC didn't show sepsis, and the smell of her leg, even just with less than 24 hours of exposure to oxygen, improved dramatically. She has had systemic antibiotics, so she's gonna stay on antibiotic therapy, needs surgical debridement, but, and anytime we can optimize the chances that our surgery isn't going to create more harm, we can. So I was hopeful that maybe we could do some surgical debridement today, and I think after getting a really close look and smell at this, our best option for at least the first week is going to be to aggressively keep it clean and try to get some of the infection under control before we do surgical resection of that. So we will see. We got a lot of work cut out for us, but she's being really amazing. I don't think she's ever been hosed down before. So far, the only thing she's been very reactive to is being sprayed with a hose.
So we just finished wrapping up Miss Cleopatra's leg. We put a wet to dry bandage on there, and we'll change it in 2 to 3 days and see how it looks, and then reassess for further potential debridement or just further cleaning from then and rebandaging.
Dr. Gina is suturing this gelding's face up. He had basically just a scab on his face during intake, and when we looked, there was a puncture wound underneath. It's about 1 centimeter deep in all directions, but it goes to the level of bone. So we don't want to leave exposed bone out there. We had to debride a little bit of some dead tissue and a lot of gunk and hair and stuff out of there. We got it really nice and clean. We got it packed with Manuka honey, and we are suturing it closed. We did 1 tension relieving suture in the subcuticular layer to help oppose the skin, and Dr. Gina is closing the skin. She's using 2-aught PDS suture, which is an absorbable suture. We'll probably take these stitches out in about 10 to 14 days. She's doing a great job. He's gonna do great. He needs his teeth floated, but he's gonna have some discomfort in his face, so probably we'll wait to float his teeth until his face is all the way healed.
I am packing up the heating pad to take our 12 amazing puppies and exhausted mama to her foster in Lewisburg. Miss Sweet Mama, can I collect you in your beautiful puppies? They're so darn adorable. They're so adorable. You look like little baby cows. This one looks like a little cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my favorite. I just love her coloring. She's beautiful. I think she's a girl. I don't know. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Nope, leave them alone. No, you can't pick them up, Mama. Come on. Come on. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Okay, I'll bring them out. There you go. There we go. We are very thankful for Freedom's journey to stepping up and fostering. Mama is what we asked him for last night. We came in today to amazing puppies, and they've offered to take Mama and all 12 puppies.
Keto and Junior are being transferred out to Freedom Journey. That is a rescue that is out in Colombia. We're very excited for them. I will be taking them tomorrow on Friday in the morning. So we're gonna bring them up. We're gonna make sure that they have everything that they need, that they're up to date on their vaccinations, dewormer, and all of that. And they're gonna hang out up here today.
So we have Cleopatra back in today. Dr. Lydia already took off her bandage and it looks much better. We're gonna do all the things we did yesterday where we're gonna clean it up and scrub it up with some shampoo and then wash it back down with some cold hosing and then rewrap it maybe.
She has a pretty horrifically infected right hind leg, and we were able to get it pretty clean yesterday, but she needs ongoing care. And she was very, very reactive to the hose. And so we're trying a different combination of medications to see if we can improve her experience in our hospital. This is 4% chlorhexidine. This is our surgical scrub. It's antimicrobial and antifungal. It's very, very drying. It can be irritating to skin. We are concerned that there is heavy, deep infection and contamination associated with this wound. So we picked something a lot gentler yesterday, and we saw a lot of improvement, but I wanted to pick something a little bit stronger today to see if we can start targeting that bacteria from the outside. We are leaving chlorhexidine to soak for a full 10 minutes to try to get more of the surface bacteria off. We are gonna need to surgically resect the excess granulation tissue that's present on the back of her leg, but her platelet count was low when we did blood work. And so we're giving her a little bit of time to try to get better stabilized and get some groceries. She had severe diarrhea when she came in. Her diarrhea is now resolved. So that is great, but hopefully by early next week, she'll be stable enough for us to do that surgery because she will lose some blood when we do that. And so in addition to that giant wound on her leg, all of the skin associated with that whole leg is oozy and irritated and infected. So instead of putting a wrap on it, we're gonna leave it to have sunshine and oxygen for about 3 days. And hopefully let that area dry out, because once we do surgery, we are gonna have to bandage that area again. So it's always hard when we have multiple problems happening, because some areas need to be dry and some areas need to be moist, and we always have to pick the lesser of two evils and go with the most significant concern. For this merit, the most significant concern is that very large area of infected granulation tissue on the back of her leg. I don't have any one topical product that has everything that I'm looking for, so I'm combining 3 different products. This one has zinc oxide for kind of better barrier protection. This one has insect repellent nature in a manner that's not going to be irritating. And then DMSO is going to provide topical analgesia and anti-inflammatory. I used to do this with my kids' own diaper rash ointment, mix stuff together.
So Cleopatra just had her leg cleaned with soap and water after cold hosing, and Dr. Lydia just got done putting on a in-house made paste for it to help it over the weekend. And we're gonna come back again on Monday and check her back out, and hopefully we'll get to the debridement of her leg next week if her platelets look better. And she did so good today. Oh, and then they also cleaned her tail, so she's much cleaner today.
So the horse that had to get a suture in its face with the puncture wound, and the horse with the ulcer in its eye were cleared to go up to the soft quarantine pen, so they no longer have to be in stalls. So we got the horses all settled into the soft quarantine pen, and the weekend feeders will check on them while they're out here.
As you can see, the riding arena is taking shape into a new project, and we have our concrete poured, we have some plumbing ready to roll, and can't wait to see what happens in this building.
Keto and Junior are all run up, and they are all up to date on their vaccines and their deworming, so they will be ready to go for tomorrow.